Yo, what's going on, guys? I just wanted to do a quick little video on these throttle cable adjustments. This is a 2006 CBR600rr, and I've got the Motion Pro quarter turn throttle sleeve on here. I had bought this used and this was already on here. So, but it seemed like every time I pressed the throttle, it'd be slow to return back to being closed. So I tried to mess with these cables and it didn't seem to do anything. So I disconnected this piece here. I unscrewed these, took it apart, exposed the throttle cables underneath here. And I saw people doing videos where they, will pour oil, like just regular motor oil, down the hose to try to lubricate the cable. So I had tried that and it didn't work. So I was kind of getting frustrated, and I was trying to get the coating of oil on the cable really good, and I was moving it real fast, and it actually ended up getting disconnected from down here. So like the throttle bodies. So I got pissed off. I just said to hell with it, and I just left it for the night, and now I'm back in the morning. So it was a pain in the ass to get this in there. What I realized was that the top portion of your cables cannot be connected while you're trying to fix this into place. So you'll see there's a little like cylinder, for the head of the cable to go through, but the cable has to go through that little tiny slit right there. So it was incredibly difficult to do. I went up here and I disconnected this, and that gave me enough free play to basically get it in there. A lot of people are using long needle nose pliers with a 45-degree tip on the end. What I found that worked for me was, which probably isn't the best, to be honest, I just didn't want to have to go buy these needle nose pliers for this one job because I'll probably never need them again. What I did was grab the end of the cable, the head of the cable, and I basically pinched it to make like a V in the cable. And I didn't do it really hard, just enough to form it in that shape. And then I went ahead and slid the head into that cylinder sleeve there, and then I kind of with the free play, I grabbed it with my other hand, and I worked it forward as the cable kind of ran along this groove, and me holding that head in place in that cylinder sleeve there. As I was pushing this cable forward, it worked itself into that notch, and then I pressed the head in, and I was holding it in place with a flathead screwdriver, by the way. So I put the head in the cylinder sleeve, put the flathead up against it. Then with my other hand, I grabbed this loose end of the cable and I pushed it forward as it worked along that groove and finally made its way into that notch. So incredibly difficult to do. I'd say it probably took me 20 or 25 minutes to do. Super frustrating. But anyway, so what was even more frustrating was that I had worked it into place, and I was thinking, okay, perfect. I think, everything's set, and this thing should be really responsive and kick back to closed. I was working the throttle, and of course, I would pull it back and it would move like this slow back. So, and sometimes it would stay open, which is, insanely dangerous if you go to grab your front brake in a turn or something like that and your throttle's open. So anyway, what I ended up doing was coming back over to here because I know this was all installed correctly, you know. So then I moved back up to here to these adjustment cables and I started moving them around. I was thinking, you know, since I want this to pull close faster, that if I remove all the slack in this return cable, that it would snap like real quick. And it was actually the opposite. So I brought this all the way out and it actually made this slower to return, which I was surprised. So I started moving it forward again, or drawing this closer to this section, and it's like, it's pretty responsive, you know. So there's really no free play in there. So I'm pretty happy with that. It could probably be slightly better, but you know, I could kind of fidget with these things and see how it works. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is check the manual before, well actually, so this is what I did before making this video, was I took apart all these clips just to make sure that, you know, the connections, because while this is open, you know, you want to do some other stuff, you know, just to make sure you're not going to have to pop it open because of a loose clip, or maybe there's a loose bolt or something wrong with your throttle bodies, or just anything, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm unclipping these and basically looking inside to see if there's any corrosion. I'm looking on the outsides to see if the wires are nipped, or, you know, possibly have been pressed up against like a, you know, a bar or the frame or anything, kind of pinching it and causing possible, you know, bad connection. And but in my case, everything looks good for the most part, and I really don't know too much about bikes. I'm just, you know, I'd bought a service manual and I've just been kind of going through piece by piece what's wrong. My next project is I got this sub harness for the front, you know, speedometer, headlights, and so on and so forth, and I'm actually getting an F1 light now, so I'll probably do a video on that if anyone's getting or FI, whatever the fuck it is, F1 FI light. Mine doesn't blink typically. Like if you got one, you'll be able to just click it onto the on position, disengage your kill switch, don't turn it on, just let the odometer kind of do its thing, and then you'll see down here the FI light will start blinking. And the number of blinks will determine what the code is. So I want to say the short blinks will account for just like 1, and then a long blink will be 10. So say if it blinks long once and then blinks short 3 times, that means it's code 13. And you can Google all the different codes and all that. But anyway, so I'm gonna do a video on that, trying to diagnose mine. I think it has something to do with this bank angle sensor, because mine's tripped or jumped, because this was a track bike. So I'm trying to, you know, prepare it back for the streets again. But so yeah, I'm gonna check the manual to see if there's any other vacuum hoses other than this one and this one, and then I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this back up and try to do a test run. So stay tuned if you guys have any issues with the FI lights. Another thing I'm going to be doing is installing these new fairings that I got from China. It's from ntfairing.com. They do pretty good with fitment and everything else. That's what I got on this other bike here, which is a 2005 CBR 1000rr. So came out looking pretty clean. So yeah, hoping to get this CBR600 going so I can start mobbing the canyons and, you know, learning to corner a little bit better. Because I had taken my CBR 1000 out to the canyons, and it was fucking, couldn't even get out of first gear, you know, without almost killing yourself coming into the next corner too hot. So so yeah, we'll do another video once it's all said and done.